So it's important to note that Lebanon has been hosting between 1 and 1.5 million Syrians in the country for the past 7 years, far more than richer, more powerful countries. And we really need to recognize that. But at the same time, there has been, for the past year, increasing anti-refugee sentiment. And we've seen calls from the highest level of the government for Syrians to go home. And so this report really documents how this is playing out at the local level, where we found that 13 municipalities in the past few years have been carrying out large-scale mass forced evictions of Syrians. And as you said, about 3,600 people have already lost their homes and 42,000 are still at risk. And this is really all happening without any due process, without any opportunity for the refugees to be able to challenge these evictions. And most troubling, the central government, which is really responsible for protecting the rights of all residents in Lebanon, hasn't really done anything in response here.
Yeah, I'm interested. You talk about central government. I know the president of Lebanon has said that Lebanon can no longer cope with the social and financial costs of the refugee crisis. What sort of social cost is he talking about? What does he mean by that?
Yeah, so it's very difficult to determine what he means by that. Lebanon has, of course, been straining under the burden of hosting refugees, everything from putting more than 200,000 children in school to the effect on the garbage crisis here. But it's also important to note the contributions of refugees to Lebanon. So people who are paying rent, contributing to the economy, working jobs that they've really worked for years now in Lebanon, including in construction and agriculture. But this is all happening in the context of when next week the Lebanese politicians are going to Brussels to the Friends of Syria donor conference to ask for more aid for humanitarian support. And so it's, of course, important that Lebanon gets that aid from the international community, but at the same time, they need to show that they've been protecting refugee rights inside the country, and that includes making sure that people have a safe place to live.
I know that as part of this report we have those statistics, those numbers, but I know you also collected stories of people documenting their experience of being evicted. What were some of the stories that you heard as a result of this research, and what do you think should be done as a result of this report?
So there's a range of ways that this is carried out on the ground, but typically it's either the municipality puts forward an order basically telling all Syrians in the municipality to leave, or they go door to door and really force refugees to sign a document saying that they will leave their homes. In some cases, this has been accompanied by violence and threats. But really what it means is that Syrians who are already extremely vulnerable in the country, 74% of Syrians here do not even have legal status. Almost 80% live below the poverty line. And so these are people who are already incredibly vulnerable, have really gone through the resources they have over the past few years, and are now being asked to leave their homes, an environment where it's very difficult for them to get up and move. And so really this has had an enormous impact on these families. People have lost access to work. Children have lost access to their schools, and many of them have been taken out of school completely. And as you said, some of them have actually decided, as a result of this, to go back to Syria, which is very concerning.